Welcome, and thank you for watching the Time Clock Plus time management training video. Today we will be going over how to manage time within the Time Clock Plus Manager application. Once you've logged into the manager, you will need to navigate on your menu to Hours, Individual Hours. Once on Individual Hours, you will be able to see different employees on the left side menu. From here, you can select an employee that you wish to look at and make edits to. You can select between several employees, but you can only look at one employee from the time on this menu. From here, we can make edits to the hours, add hours, do approvals, or look at other various information that employees have. We can also filter to certain groups of employees based on the employee filter, the job code filter, cause code filter, the exception filter, or the segment filter. The segment filter is special to the hours menus as it allows you to filter to different kinds of segments that you might need to see on the item. It especially works well for schedules. From here, we can review the hours that an employee has had and make corrections as necessary. Within an employee's hour set, we can edit it by either double-clicking a segment, right-clicking, or highlighting, selecting Manage, going to Edit. Once the Edit menu is open, you can review the various information that the employee has tracked on their segment. You can see things like time in, time out, break type, job, cost code if available, labor code if available, or other bits of information. From here, we can make edits to the segment, such as changing the date and time in by selecting from a date calendar, changing the date and time out by changing the time by using the clock icon. You can either type into the field with either AM, PM values or with military values, or you can use the clock selector to select different times that you want to change the employee's time to. Again, this does accept military time. So if you enter that information and hit tab or enter, it will enter that information for you. You can also change what job code the employee is tracking. You can change this to anything from their default code, highlighted in green, manager entry codes, highlighted in red, or other leave times. From here, you can also change other elements, such as if the employee is clocked in, creating a timesheet entry that only has a amount of hours and a start time, or identifying a missed in or out punch. If you are entering an employee's punch for the day, there's a good chance you will need to use these items. When allowing a missed punch in or out on a segment, it will automatically approve it for you, but will still show up in other reporting. Once you've made the edits to the employee segments that you wish, you can select the Save option and save the segment. You can also add time in a similar fashion by selecting the green Add button. The date range will default to the current day. You can use the date selector again to select additional days. If the employee is going to be clocked in on this segment, you can enable the option Individual is clocked in. This will remove the option to have a timeout and will give you the option to enter a start time. Again, if you are entering this as a missed in punch for an employee, you will want to make sure that they're clocked in and that the missed in punch is already selected for them. In addition to these items, we have a days repeater at the bottom. What this will do is repeat the segment for as many days as you select. To enter a week's worth of information, we can have the segment start on a Monday, set up our segment the way that the employee would work their typical week, and set the date selector for 5 days, creating an automatic week's worth of information for an employee if necessary. To exit out or to revert any changes that you might have made, hit cancel, which will again unsave any changes, or if you're adding a segment, we'll remove that information and not add it. If you need to add a break, split a segment, or do any other types of operations outside of editing the start and stop times, you can right-click on a segment or select the whole segment and use the Manage option to get the same options. From here, we can do things like split the segment by length, by percentage, or add a break. To add a break, we can select the option, designate the start time of the break, and how long the break was. We can also add any other notes if we need to inform other managers or set reminders for ourselves of why this break was entered manually. From here, we can hit save and the break will be applied to the segment. You'll also note that there will be a denoter showing how much time was spent on that break and if it was unpaid or paid. If you need to split a segment, you can split it by length or percentage. By length will typically be the way you'll want to do that. If you need to split a segment, you can select the split button, which will create another segment and automatically chop that segment into another one of equal size or as close to equal as it can possibly be. From here, you can change the start time of the second segment or the out time of the first segment. You'll notice that you can't change the in or out time of these segments as they are already set and would need to be edited from the main editing portal. From here, we can set other items, like if there is breaks. If we need to split the segment even further, we can split it again. The split by percentage menu shows up much the same, but instead of doing it by time and length, it will do it by percentage of time worked. We can also delete those items if we wish to remove one of the splits we have created, which will revert the segment back to what it was before the split. You can save once you're done, and that will save any changes you make to the segment. You can also change the date range that you're looking at by selecting the date items, much like you did in the edit screen. From here, I can look back as far as I want to within the date ranges given to me, as far as the system has data. Please keep in mind, though, that if it is a closed period, it will be locked and will not be editable, but will still be viewable by managers. You can also select from a variety of different preset date ranges, including this week, the open period, the open week, the time clock week, or other items. That concludes our manager training on managing and editing time. Thank you very much, and thank you for being Time Clock Plus customer.